Today you're going to be practicing graphing and solving equations. Please remember that this assignment does not leave the classroom. You need to turn in whatever you have completed at the end of class. If you take this assignment with you, it's automatically 2 zeros, so just turn in whatever you have. So I'm going to show you some examples just to remind you how to do these problems. So if you would turn over to page 2, and let's look at problem number 6 together. Now, when you are solving a system of equations using the graphing method, you are going to graph both of these lines on the same picture and see where they cross. So the first line is going to start at the positive 1 for my y-intercept. Remember, you always start on the vertical axis. The number attached to my x is my slope. And anytime your slope is not a fraction, you need to put it over 1. So the top number tells us if we're moving up or down. Since it's negative, we're moving down. The bottom number always starts by moving to the right. So we're going down 2 and right 1. Now you might only need to put a couple of points in each direction, but whenever I'm graphing for system of equations, I want my graph to be perfect, so I like to go all the way through, especially with the first line. Now you need to make sure that you are actually using a ruler to connect your dots, because if your line does not look straight to me, I am going to count off points. And I also want you to make sure you are graphing these completely, not just putting a couple of dots and then finding out where they cross and writing the answer. You will get points counted off. Now the second equation starts at -4, so I'm starting at the origin. I move down 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my y-intercept. My slope is positive 1/2. Which means this time we're moving up 1, but the bottom number still moves to the right 2. So up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. Down 1, left 2 to go the other way, and I need to make sure that I connect my dots with a line all the way through the graph. Okay. So the point where these two lines are going to intersect or cross is our solution, and we need to make sure that we write that down as an ordered pair. So if I started at the origin, I went 1, 2 to the right, that's positive 2, and then moved down 1, 2, 3, so -3. Okay. So this is the solution to this system of equations. Problem 7. Now I just want to remind you how to do some solving equations. Anytime that you see a set of parentheses, the first thing you always need to think is to distribute or multiply. So -2 multiplies times 1x and gives me -2x's. -2 multiplies to the 3 and gives me -6. I bring down my -3x and the equals -51. Now anytime you distribute, the next thing you should do is check for combining like terms. So like terms have the same letter. When you circle them, make sure you take whatever sign is in front of them, and then combining them just means that we are adding those two numbers together. So now I've got -5x's. The -6 moves down, and so does the equal -51. Now once you've distributed and combined like terms, this one is now just a two-step equation. I'm going to move the friend by doing the opposite sign to each side of that equal sign. That gives me -5x is equal to a -51 plus 6, which is -45. So in the last step to finish getting the x by itself, we need to divide both sides by the number attached to the x. Make sure that you take that negative sign with it. Double negatives over here make this positive 1x, and when I do -45 divided by -5, that is positive 9. So x equals 9. If you would like to check your answer on this one, you can just plug x equals 9 back into both of those and see if you get -51. I hit enter, I did get -51. And you might want to go ahead and double check your answers, because this is going to count twice as a daily grade. Okay. Number 8. Now, the first thing I see on this problem is that I've got some distributing to do, so I'm going to start with that one. You can go ahead and combine like terms on the first step if you wanted to. I'm just going to distribute. So 2 times 7 ends up giving me 14. 2 times 2x is positive 4x. So I distribute, and now I'm going to check for combining like terms. I have like terms on the left. 4x and 3x give me 7x's. I bring down the -4. There are not any like terms on the right side, so I'm just going to rewrite it like it looks. Now this is the kind of problem where you have the same letter on both sides of the equal sign. It doesn't matter which one you choose to move. I like to move the one on the right. And you use the opposite sign to move it over. So I would be subtracting 4x. 7x minus 4x gives me 3x's. I bring down the minus 4, and this is equal to 14. So now that I've gotten to this step, we once again have ourselves a two-step equation. If I'm trying to get the x by itself, that makes the negative 4 the friend, and I do the opposite sign to move it over. So now I've got 3x is equal to 18. For my last step, I've got to divide both sides by 3, and I've got x is equal to 6. Now when you check your answer on this one, because there's letters on both sides, you plug the 6 back in on both sides and see if you get the same answer. So 4 times 6.
PLC meetings and 407, PLC meeting and 407. Elective.
All right, so I plugged both of those in. Both sides did equal 38, so it is correct. Now you need to finish the rest of the assignment, get as much done as you possibly can. Make sure you turn in whatever you have completed at the end of class.